Hi, I'm Graham Russell. I'm one of the new members of Team MVP, and I'm going to show you what's in my bag. So first off, I've got a grip equip bag. This is a first run of the bags. So I've actually got the grip tag number 150 here on the bag. I don't really want to get rid of that. This thing I've had for 4 or 5 years, however long they've been out, and it's held up really, really great. So I'm going to start off with my putters for you today. I carry 4 putters in my bag right now. I'm carrying Plasma Ion, a Proton Envy, and 2 Electron Atoms. My Proton Envy, this is a max weight. I'm using this for most of my putter drives off the tee. I can really power up on this. Flat, it's not going to get any of that high-speed turn for me because it's pretty fresh, and it's always going to finish with a soft hyzer. I can throw it into headwinds. I can throw it on hyzers. It's a really, really reliable disc. Probably one of my favorite discs I've ever handled. My other driving putter right now is a Plasma Ion. The Plasma Ion, the plasma plastic is really, really tacky. It also is really, really durable. Out here we're playing in a lot of rocks, and this is held up great. It's still just as stable as the day I got it. This I can throw really hard and flat. It might get a little bit of left to right turn in the air. It's not going to ever turn and burn on me. And then it's going to finish just dead straight or with a really soft hyzer finish. So if I have a tunnel shot, 320 feet, I can just pump this out flat. It'll flex through that whole tunnel and finish right straight at the end. And I have 2 Electron Atoms. The Electron Atom is my favorite putter I've ever handled. I used to putt with Wizards. I putted with AVRs. I've putted with everything in MVP and Axiom's lineup. The Atom is beating all of them for me. Their plastic feels like the really, really nice gateway stuff. Anyone who throws gateway putters knows when you want that good wizard, you have to go and you have to search through 10, 20 of them to find the one that feels right. Well, MVP makes their stuff feeling exactly the same every single time. So when I have my firm Electron Atom, which is what I use, it always feels great. It has the low profile of the Envy. It's neutral, stable. So if I throw it hard and flat, it's going to get a little bit of left to right turn. It's going to hold that line. If I throw a little bit of hyzer, it's going to flatten out, have a little bit of fade at the end. But in the circle, it's point and shoot. If I throw it straight, it goes straight. So inside the circle, outside the circle, 80 feet away, 100 feet away, I'm always reaching for this disc, unless I've got some obstruction in my way where I might go with the Envy. And I carry these in 174 and a 156 for tricky shots for a little extra glide. I'm carrying 2 mid-ranges right now. I'm carrying a Neutron Tensor, which is an MVP disc, and I'm carrying the Axiom Theory. So the Theory, you'll notice, first off, it has one of the best looking stamps in disc golf. Skullboy collaborates with MVP all the time, and his stuff looks fantastic. I throw this flat or with a little bit of hyzer. It'll turn on me. It'll flip on me a little bit. It's great for anhyzer shots. It's great for really technical dialed-in shots. The Tensor, that's new to my bag right now. I really like the profile. The Vector and the Tensor fly really similar. They're really like a stable rock or like a wasp almost. But the Vector has a profile that almost has a little more of an Envy feel, which really just feels great in my hand. So with this, I can throw it hard and flat. It's never going to turn right for me, and it's going to go a little bit of hyzer at the very end. I can throw it on a hyzer. It'll hold a big hyzer the whole time. I can throw it on headwinds. It's just a really, really reliable disc. After that, I've got my fairway drivers. Right now, I'm bagging 2 different molds for fairway drivers, and I'm carrying 5 discs. My personal favorite right now is the Resistor. The Resistor is just a really overstable short fairway driver. It's almost comparable to a Whippet. It's in between a Whippet and a T-Bird almost, and I know those aren't similar discs, but I can throw this hard and flat. It's going to hold straight, and it's going to hyzer really, really hard at the very end. I can throw it on a hyzer. It holds a huge hyzer. I can throw it into any kind of headwind. It's going to fly exactly the same every single time. So I can always rely on this disc. I never have to worry about it. I carry 2 different weights. I carry a 168 and a 160. I really like throwing lighter plastic. After that, I've got 3 Craves in my bag. So I've got 2 of the Halloween stamped Craves and 1 of the watermelons. This one is a 156 Crave. I use this for my understable and anhyzer shots. If I want something to flex really big, I'm going to use this most of the time. And then when I want dead straight on huge power, I can put everything I've got into this on just a really, really soft hyzer or flat, and it just goes dead straight the entire way, finishes straight. I'm about to be playing a tournament off in the woods in Flagstaff, Arizona. I'm going to use these at least 50% of the time off the tee. So moving past my fairway drivers, I have one of my utility drivers. I carry two different molds that aren't MVP and Axiom discs. This first one is going to be the Legacy Mongoose. This is a first-run Legacy Mongoose. The current runs of Mongooses are a little more stable, and there's a lot of stuff in MVP's lineup that I actually prefer to it. The Inspire, the Switch, the Insanity, they fly really similar. But the MVP stuff, I love the feel and look of it. But these first-run Mongooses, they are some of the flippiest discs you'll ever throw in your life. So these are my rollers. I throw a lot of rollers out here. I can throw these on a hyzer, I can throw them on a roller line, I can throw whatever I want, and it will always roll for me. I can throw these in a tailwind, I can throw these in a headwind. These roll for me all day, every day. After my Mongooses, when I'm bumping up to slower distance drivers, I bag the Volt. Right now I'm carrying 3 Volts. These are all some of the newer runs. I'm carrying 2 Plasma Volts, and I'm carrying 1 Fission Volt. So the Volt is kind of like a point-and-shoot driver. For me, it goes just as far as almost anything in my bag. I can throw this thing 400, 420, 30 feet without much of a problem. I can throw it on a pure hyzer, I can throw it on an anhyzer, I can throw it dead flat. It's always going to do what I've done to it. It'll handle some wind. So if I've got a straight shot, I've got that little bit of a hyzer shot, that smaller rim on the Volt is really, really comfortable. I'm always going to be able to trust it. But with my Fission Volt I'm carrying right now is 154. Like I said before, I love lighter weight discs. The Fission Volt, since it carries all of its weight on the outer rim instead of spread throughout the disc like a Blizzard disc or an Air disc, it still has a little bit of that extra stability that you wouldn't normally expect in one of the lighter discs. So this Fission Volt, I can throw it on a soft hyzer. It'll flatten out, just pan a little bit, and it'll fly almost identical to my Plasma Volt with a little less stability on the very end. What's great about it, though, is that I can throw this disc on 70% power, where I'd have to throw my Plasma Volts on 90% power. So what that means is when I've got a really technical shot, I can throw this less power, so a little more accuracy. I don't have to worry about grip locking it, going off to the side, shanking my shot as much. A little less power, it's going to fly exactly the same, really easy. That's the Fission Volt. I don't think this is ever going to leave my bag. After that, I'm getting into my distance drivers. Right now I'm carrying 5 different distance drivers. One of my favorites right now is the Motion. The Motion for me works very similar to a Firebird for most people. It's super, super overstable. It's got some really good distance potential if you really crank on it. But for the most part, I use this as a utility disc or a headwind disc. I carry 2 different weights, a 171 and a 155. The 155 still just as stable as really anything else. I use these on huge hyzer shots, on really, really heavy headwinds, on big flex shots, and on forehand shots. After that, I've got my Insanity. I'm messing around with a bunch of different Insanities. I really, really love this disc. It can hold the big anhyzer line, but if you throw it with that little bit of hyzer, it'll flatten out, it'll pan a little bit. It's got some good turn, some good movement. I can put this thing about 430, 440 on a really good day, and I can really shape my lines with it. So again, when I'm playing in the woods here, this is going to get a lot of use. And then after that, I've got my last 2 discs. This is my other mold that I carry that's not MVP and Axiom, and that's the Legacy Outlaw. I'm carrying these in the Legend Plastic right now. This is basically like a better Destroyer. The Rico brothers know what they're doing when they make discs. They always loved Destroyers. They took the Destroyer and they said, I want it better, and they accomplished that. So these are nice and stable. They fly really, really, really far. I can get these to turn, I can get these to hyzer, I can get these to do whatever I want, and they go 40 feet further than anything I've ever thrown in my life. So this is the Legacy Outlaw, and it's Legend Plastics, really durable disc. That's what I've got in my bag right now. I always carry my bag tags on me to show off. This is the old school grip bag. It carries plenty of stuff. You got to keep your rule book. You've always got to keep a mini. I also have the best looking mini in the game. It's one of Skullboy's, custom made minis. But yeah, that's what's in my bag. And throw MVP.